Hossain Sabzian is a 36-year-old cinephile who finds himself in a most spectacular circumstance. Somehow he managed to convince a wealthy family that he is the celebrated film director Moslem and invites them to star in his new feature. The plan goes awry and the suspecting family invites a reporter to document the arrest of the imposter. This story goes nationwide, which attracts the attention of Abbas Kiarostami, who visits Sabzian and offers to create a film about the whole affair and explore Sabzian's side of things, which ultimately leads into a stunning, multi-layered investigation into cinema, identity, artistic creation and existence, arguably Kiarostami's masterpiece, Close Up. In the film, fiction meets reality as the actors portray themselves and reenact their actual past interactions, leading us to the real-life trial where Sabzian voices his love for cinema, acknowledges that he played with the family's feelings, but stresses that he never intended to do them any harm. In a touching turn of events, the family pardons Sabzian with the hopes that he will land on his feet again. When he is let out of prison, he gets picked up by none other than Moslem himself, so they ride into town and into a promising future where Sabzian's love has been recognized and his sins forgiven. The film ends with a frozen image of Sabzian, regretful but smiling, because in a way, his dream has come true. But what happened to Sabzian after the release of the film? For one, critics and famous directors across the globe could speak the name and recognize the face of Hossain Sabzian, certainly a promising start for a 36-year-old cinephile and his endeavors, but perhaps you might have already found yourself in disappointment to find that there's not much to his involvement in film ever since, except a couple of short documentaries such as the 1996 one called Close Up Long Shot, where a deeply disappointed Sabzian talks about how despite the film's intentions of making the viewers find compassion for his actions, all it really did was to deepen his image as a conman, since repeatedly playing on TV all over Iran, the film has made it harder for him to escape his past. Moreover, Sabzian finds himself all the more critical of Kiarostami's intentions, leading him to question whether Kiarostami didn't simply use him to chase his own international success as a filmmaker. If the people in the industry recognize Hossain Sabzian, that doesn't mean that they respect him or care about him or see him, of course. He put food on all of their tables as they gained acclaim for their reviews and were paid to come speak on the importance of the film. But who put food on Hossain Sabzian's table? That is what the 1996 documentary seems to be asking. Reportedly, when the documentary was released, Kiarostami couldn't sleep for days. Perhaps an important realization was made, namely that we are responsible for the people that we film as filmmakers, especially when we are far more privileged or wealthy than they are. If we go into a town and film the disadvantaged, the impoverished, the deeply vulnerable, there seems to be something incomplete and disingenuous about just filming them and then leaving. Kiarostami wanted to follow up on these insights in 2006, but tragically, as Sabzian was on his way to their first meeting for the new documentary, Sabzian suffered an asthma attack and after a 4-month period in a coma, died at age 52. With that, Sabzian's story ends, and he came to be remembered as an emblem of cinema's salvific powers by the most, and as a tragic prisoner of cinema to those who learned about what happened after Close Up. Hossain Sabzian is a man who loved an art form that didn't love him back. As his sister puts it well in the 1996 documentary, I think when it comes to real love, there's always helplessness, failure and disappointment. Given occasional peeks into Hossain Sabzian's brilliant mind, it's intriguing to think about what he would have created if he was given the opportunity to create something of his own. And given his love for cinema, it is tragic to think that he never was given that opportunity. The question remains, how should we feel about Close Up? Did the film really use Sabzian as a means to its own ends? Perhaps we should note the profound and compassionate treatment that Close-Up gave to Sabzian's story. We can say that perhaps Kiarostami did move on to new films and left Sabzian behind, but for a time, the filmmaker did give all of his honest and caring attention to a man who he recognized as a fellow appreciator of cinema.